Assalamu alaikum, dear learners. How are you? I hope you are well by the grace of Almighty Allah. Alhamdulillah, I am also fine by the grace of Almighty Allah and by your prayers. Dear learners, welcome to SSC Online English class presented by MD Yarul Islam, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Himant Adarsh College, Satkhira. Learners, after a long time gap, I have come once again to take your class. Perhaps in my last two classes, I did completing sentences. I showed you how to use various clauses and how to use the conjunctions properly and etc. in my last two classes. So today I would like to do the same topic and I will show you the remaining part of completing sentences. Completing sentences. Learners, today I will show you what you have to do when you will get its time or its high time. These two are the clauses, and after these two clauses, what we have to do? We have to use another clause in such a way: subject plus verb to, then extension. Subject, verb to, extension. Learners, its high time or its time. ইহাই উপযুক্ত সময় or ইহাই সময়. And after these two clauses, we have to use another clause, and the clause must be in past indefinite tense. Though it's past indefinite tense, yet it expresses the meaning as like as present tense. This is the example that you have to follow. It's time. There is a gap, and in this gap, what you have to do? You have to use a clause. It's time we left, not leave. You have to use the past form of leave, left the place. Learners, though it's a past indefinite tense, yet it expresses the meaning of present indefinite tense. Learners, besides this, we can develop the idea, we can get them in another way. Suppose it is time or it's high time, then there will be a preposition for then objective form or objects. Then what you have to do? Or you can get these two clauses in such a way: it's time, it's high time, then there will be no touch of object or preposition. What you have to do? Here, it's time or it's high time, then preposition and object. What you have to do? You have to use an infinitive. You have to use an infinitive to develop the sentence grammatically. To plus verb and extension, object or extension. In the same way, you can complete the second sentence in such a way, you have to use infinitive phrase or infinitive to plus verb or to plus verb on object or extension. So, when you will get this clause, I mean it's time or it's high time, you have to complete the sentence in three ways. Number one, you can use a clause after this clause. After this, it's time or it's high time, you have to use a clause. This is the first rule, or you can use infinitive or infinitive phrase when you will get preposition for, and this preposition will be followed by an object. You have to complete the sentence using infinitive or infinitive phrase. In the third way, after its time or its high time, when you will not get any object or any subject, then what you have to do, you have to complete this sentence using an infinitive or infinitive phrase. I am going to give you more examples of this. It's time. It's time for them. And there is a gap. What you have to do? You have to complete the sentence using an infinitive. This is, sorry, it's time for them to go home or to study English. Learners, you have to keep in mind that we are doing sentence completing, and we have to complete the sentences using a phrase or a clause. You are not allowed here to use only a single word. So, what you have to do, you have to use at least a phrase in a gap or clause. So, it's time for them to go home or to study English. But when you will get the sentence, I mean incomplete sentence in such a way where there will be no subject or no object. It's time or high time. So, what you have to do? In such a way, if you get the gap in the sentence, what you have to do? You have to use an infinitive or infinitive phrase or clause. It's time to study English. Learners, we can complete the incomplete sentence in such a way when you will find its time or its high time. Now, I will show you the usage of relative pronouns in completing sentences. Learners, relative pronouns. Have you any idea regarding this term? Relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are the pronouns that work or that play two roles at a time. They are the conjunction and pronoun at the same time. Who, is, what, whom. They are mostly used as relative pronoun in the sentence, and when we will get them in incomplete sentence, we have to use a clause. So, at first we have to know them. Who means je, she. Jara tara, who is jeti, sheti. In the same way, what, ja, ta, whom, jake, take. In such a way, we get their Bengali meanings. So, when we will use them in a sentence, we have to be careful, because they play two roles at a time. They are conjunction and at the same time pronoun. So, what we have to do, in such a way we use them, we can use them. Subject. Then we can use this relative pronoun who is, what. Then there will be the verb, and afterwards we have to use extension or object. Then another verb, then extension or object. Learners, in such a way we can use who is, what and whom after the subject. When the subject is any person, then this subject will be followed by who, and when the subject will be anything or object, then this kind of subject will be followed by who is or what. Learners, this theory here is working. This theory here are working as like as conjunction and pronoun at the same time. They are connecting two clauses here. Number one, subject, verb and extension, taking this part as clause. This is the first clause, and there is also another clause, subject, and this subject has been substituted by these three conjunctions. I mean, there are three pronouns in these three conjunctions, and this pronoun will be the subject of this verb. So, there we have three pronouns, and these three pronouns are the subject of the last clause. Here is the pronoun, I mean subject, verb, extension. This is another clause. So, these three conjunctions here are playing the role of conjunction. At the same time, they are playing the role of subject of another clause. So, they are connecting these two clauses at the same time. They are playing the role of subject of the next clause. So, they are called a relative pronouns. They are creating a relation between two clauses at the same time, working as like as the subject of the next clause. So, they are called relative pronouns. Learners, I am now giving you an example. See the example. Rohim, who. Right soil. This is the first clause. I mean, who right soil. This is the subordinate clause, and as we have used who after the subject Rohim, so already we have used the pronoun, I mean the subject of the next clause. So, what you have to do? Subject is inserted in this word. So, what we have to do to complete the gap? We have to start the clause with verb. Why? Because the subject is in the word who. Rohim, who writes well, gets good marks. So, what is the subject here? The subject is in the conjunction who. In such a way, we can complete the gap that are most related to relative pronouns. Students are seen to make a mistake using subject here once again. So, you have to keep in mind that you will not use subject here. Why? Because the subject of the next clause is in the relative pronoun. Learners, look at the another example. The flat. which she has bought. The plot which she has bought, there is a gap. What you have to do? You have to develop the idea in this gap using verb first. Why? Because the subject is in the conjunction which. The flat which she has bought is very nice. You will not use the subject on second, then it will be wrong. So, what you have to do when you will use or when you will get this relative pronoun in such a way, you have to develop the idea of the gap using verb first, and you have to avoid verb here, a subject here. Why? Because the subject is in the conjunction relative pronoun which. Learners, I have already showed you these relative pronouns in the completing sentences. They are used after object. What you have to do then? Suppose I knew the man, then who? What you have to do? I knew the man who. Here who is indicating the antecedent, the man. So what you have to do to complete the gap using a clause, you have to keep in mind that they are playing two roles at a time. They are the conjunctions, at the same time they are the subject of the next clause. So, as the subject is in the word who, we have to use verb first. I knew the man who came here last night. Learners, I have used the relative pronoun after object. In such a way, we can complete the gap using a clause where there is no subject, direct subject. What is the subject? Subject is in the relative pronoun. Learners, beside this, we can use them after complement. These relative pronouns are used after complement. See the example. This is the boy. You can use who. So, what you have to do to complete the gap? This is the boy who. This is the boy who. This is the subject of the next clause. Then you have to fill the gap using verb first. Who has broken the glass? Learners, in such a way we can complete the gap, and here the word who has been used after the complement. Here the boy is the complement. So, when we will get relative pronoun after complement, then in such a way we can complete the sentence. Learners, which and what, they are used after any object or anything. Suppose this is the pen which. In such a way, in the same way, we have to complete the gap using a sentence, using a clause, which is indicating the antecedent, the pen. So, we have to use a clause and the subject of this clause will be the pen, and the subject is inserted into this conjunction which. So, we have to start the clause using verb. This is the pen which writes well. Okay. So, who is and what, that are used after any object or thing, who is used after person, and whom. Now, I will show you the example of whom. Whom means jake take. This is the Bengali meaning of whom. Whom is used after any person. Suppose Rohim whom. Whom is used in the place of object. At the same time, who is used at the place of subject. So, this is a conjunction and also the object, I mean pronoun here. Rohim, whom. Rohim, whom I love most. Rohim, whom I love most. Learners, here whom is the object of the first clause I love, and here is the object, and this object is here the word whom, and I have already used the object here. So, we have to keep blank in the place of object here, because we have already written the object first. I love Rohim, whom I love. Rohim, whom I love most. This is the subordinate clause, and you have to complete the gap, and Rohim will be the subject of this clause. Rohim, whom I love most, is very honest. Rohim is very honest. This is the principal clause, and whom I love most is the subordinate clause here, and whom has replacing the object of the subordinate clause. At the same time, whom has connected these two clauses to make a sentence. So, in such a way, we can complete the incomplete sentence where we get whom or other relative pronouns. Learners, in such a way, we can use the clauses most related to these relative conjunctions. Now, I will show you another conjunction, lest. Lest পাশে ভয় হওয়া. Lest is used in the middle portion of two clauses, and after lest there will be a clause where we will get the fear of anything. Fear. The subject is afraid of doing something, and the fear the subject is getting, I mean the person is getting, will be inserted into this clause. Learners, and to avoid such kind of fear, the subject has to do something, and this action will be used in the first clause. Learners, this is fear, and to avoid this fear, there is an action, and there is a special use of lest. What you have to keep in mind, that is, you must use should or might after the subject in the second clause. Should or might after the subject in the second clause. I mean, at first you have to use subject, then you have to use should and might, verb 1 and extension. Now I am giving you example. After lest, what you have to use? After lest we have to use a clause where we will find subject, and the subject will be followed, must be followed either should or might, then verb 1, then extension, and this clause will express fear of something, and to avoid this fear, the subject or the person that is doing action here, to avoid this fear, the subject is doing an action, and this action will be expressed through the first clause. Suppose study hard, then lest. So why the subject is studying hard here? To avoid a fear. What is his fear? He may fail in the exam. So we have to use here the fear that the subject feels here. Suppose here is a subject you, so you have to use you. Then you must be followed by either should or might. You should fail. So this is his fear, for which the subject here is studying hard. Study hard lest you should fail. In the same way, he walk fast lest there is a gap. So why does he walk fast? What's his fear? To walk fast. Undoubtedly, the subject, he is walking fast for something, for any fear. We have to refer to this fear in this clause. Suppose he has a fear to miss the class, to miss the train, etc. So we have to use the subject once again. He should miss the class. Learners, in such a way we can complete the clause that is mostly connected to lest. Learners, now I will show you another conjunction that is connected to no sooner had. No sooner had, and there is a conjunction that is then. Scarcely had, hardly had, and here when or before. When or before. These two conjunctions can be used here. Scarcely had, when or before in the middle portion of the two clauses. Hardly had, when or before, either when or before. But for no sooner had, we have to use only then. So these are the conjunctions, and you have to maintain the conditions that are most related to this conjunction. What are the conditions? Here we have got had, and after had we have to use subject, and the subject will be followed by verb 3, then extension or object, then there will be the conjunction, and after this conjunction there will have a gap. What you have to do to complete this gap? You have to use a clause, and clause starts with subject, then verb 2, then extension. You know that this is the past perfect tense, and this past perfect tense will be followed by past indefinite tense. I mean verb 3, verb 2, verb 3, verb 2, 3, 2. So, we have to use a clause after this conjunction, and the clause must be past indefinite tense. Suppose, no sooner had the teacher entered the room, then there is a gap. What you have to use? You have to use a clause that will be past indefinite tense. No sooner had the teacher entered the room, the students, this is the subject, stood up. Learners, in such a way we can complete the gap that are most related to this: scarcely had, when before, or hardly had, when before. I am also giving you another example of these two patterns. Hardly had, we reached the station, when or before. What you have to use here? Hardly had, we reached the station. Hardly had, scarcely had, no sooner had. Jete na jetei, ashte na ashtei, khete na khetei. In such a way we get their Bengali meaning. Hardly had, we reached the station, the train started moving. The train started moving. Hardly had we reached the station, then the conjunction when or before. What you have to use after this conjunction? We have to use a clause that is mostly related to this part or this clause, and the clause must be in past indefinite tense. Had, then verb 3, and this is the verb 2. So, before this conjunction we have used had plus verb 3, and after this conjunction we have used verb 2. In such a way we can complete the incomplete portion or parts most related to this conjunction. Dear learners, as long as, this is another conjunction, as long as, যতক্ষণ ততক্ষণ. In such a way you get their Bengali meaning, যতক্ষণ ততক্ষণ. So there we have to use two clauses. After this conjunction there will be a clause, and we have to use here the first clause. So here this is the first action, and during this first action there will be another action. If I give you an example, you will understand, I think. He reads the book. This is the action. Then as long as. There will be another clause, and the clause must be in present tense. He reads the book as long as I watch TV. So, how long does he read the book? He reads the book as long as I watch TV. This is the time, and for this time, the subject here is reading the book. So, in such a way, we can use as long as, and we can complete the incomplete part mostly related to this conjunction as long as. In such a way, we can use clause related to till and until. Till পর্যন্ত, until না পর্যন্ত. So, there will be an action, I mean first clause, and there will have a time, and time may be an action. Time mentioning action. He reads the book, then till. Okay, what you have to use here? We have to use a clause. You can also use a phrase here, either phrase or clause. He reads the book until the morning. Until the morning. This is the phrase. But when you will use the clause, what you have to do? He reads the book till or until it's the morning. So, when we will use the phrase, the till will be preposition then, and when we will use a clause after this till will be conjunction then. So, you can use a phrase or clause after till or until. Learners, in such a way we can finish the problem that are related to this two conjunction till or until. Learners, we can complete the incomplete sentences when we will get this conjunction in the questions. Now I am going to show you how to use different phrases in completing sentences. Learners, we have some phrases. I am writing them. Suppose with a view to, look forward to, addicted to, devoted to, approach to, get used to, or be plus used to, get used to or be plus used to. Learners, with a view to, look forward to, addicted to, devoted to, approach to, get used to or be plus used to, contribute to, apply to. After this to, what you have to use? You have to use a phrase that will start in such a way, verb plus ing and then the extension. Learners, after this phrase, what we have to use? We have to use verb plus ing and then extension or object of this verb. Now look at the example. He has come here. With a view to indicates purpose of doing anything. Look forward to advance to somewhat. Addicted to indicates a strong attraction. Bad things. Devoted to is also a strong attraction for good things. Approach to come forward. Get used to, this is the habit, this indicates habitual activity of someone. So in such a way we get them in a sentence, and what you have to do after these phrases: with a view to, he has come here with a view to, with a view to. So there is a purpose of his coming here. What is his purpose? Suppose there is a gap, what you have to use to fill the gap? Meeting me. Okay, learners, I have used here verb plus ing and then the object. In such a way we can complete the incomplete sentence most related to this phrase. He was addicted. He was addicted to. Here is a gap. He was addicted to. We have to use verb plus ing then object. He was addicted to taking drugs. So we can complete the sentence in such a way that are most related to this preposition, to this phrase. I mean different kinds of phrase here. After this preposition to, we have to advance in such a way, verb plus ing then object or extension. Learners, would you mind? After mind, the verb mind, would you mind? In some cases we will find in such a way in completing sentences. There is a gap, and after this gap there is this mark, would you mind, and this verb mind, after this verb mind we have to use another verb, and the verb will be verb plus ing. Verb plus ing then extension. So would you mind? Would you mind closing the door? Closing the door. Would you mind opening the door? Would you mind? Would you mind giving me your pen? In such a way we can complete the problem related to this. Would you mind? Learners, beside this, we sometimes see gap in the position of subject or object in a sentence. What we have to use here? We have to use a noun phrase there. Suppose is a great problem. Here is a gap on the position of the subject of this sentence. So what you have to use here? We have to use here a phrase, noun phrase. But some students are seen to use here a single word. When we find with the teacher find a single word in the position of the subject or object, the sentence is held as mistake or wrong. Learners, what you have to use here? You have to use at least a phrase here. Suppose unemployment problem or population growth. Population growth, noun and noun, noun adjective and noun, and these two has made a phrase, that is a noun phrase. Population growth is a great problem. In the same way, we get a gap in the position of an object of a sentence. What we have to use there? We have to use another noun phrase. Suppose he hates. He hates. What you have to do? This is the place of object, and in the position of this object we have a gap. What you have to use here? We have to use a phrase here. He hates. He hates. Some students are seen to write here, he hates her or he hates Rohim. No, this will not be the correct answer here. What you have to use here? You have to use at least a phrase here. He hates to tell a lie. Learners, he hates to tell a lie. This is the phrase that I have used here in the position of the object of this incomplete sentence. In such a way, we can complete some incomplete sentences. Learners, these are all regarding incomplete sentences. You will practice more and more to do well in this option or topic, because most of the students do not get proper marks in this option. I have tried my level best to make you understand regarding the problems that are most related to this topic. See you again in the next class. Thank you.